Hello everyone. I can't see myself in this camera, so hopefully you guys can see me. It's very, very nice out here today. You're going on a quick walk with me so I can explain why I have named this video likely the most important video I have made about cancer. That doesn't mean that I'm important or that other videos aren't important. But I think whether you've been following me or not, and whether or not you're subscribed, which I hope you are, you'll be able to take something away from this that will either help you or help someone else, in addition to helping me. So, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You know what? Subscribing is free. You don't have to, if you want to get my updates, press the bell. If you subscribe and you just want to come in at your leisure, don't press the bell, then it won't update you. Wow. So at the end of this video, you get to see my tumors. I will put the CT scan, the 2 pictures of my CT scan, up at the end, and you'll be able to see them. We should name it because it's still there and it's not that much smaller. So let me start there. If you're new to the channel, I have terminal cancer. My original diagnosis was small bowel adenocarcinoma with metastasis to my ovaries, uterus, omentum, lymph nodes, pretty much everywhere you can metastasize. And I did treatment for that. I had 4 surgeries, and this most recent diagnosis has been peritoneal carcinomatosis with a rather large perirenal tumor that I went through radiation and chemo for 6 weeks. It doesn't look like it did too much. I'm not smoking today. So here's the thing, I spent all morning talking to somebody, and that somebody was introduced to me by one of the subscribers here on YouTube. I can't go back right now and look at her name, but I know she's asked me a couple times, have you really talked to this person? The doctor is in Omaha. His name is Dr. Logie. He specializes in rare cancers. And after speaking with his nurse practitioner, or physician's assistant, who is awesome, by the way, all morning, I wish I would have found him a long time ago. So I spoke with her this morning, and unfortunately, the window of time I have for this, to get this tumor out, to surgically remove this tumor, is 6 to 8 weeks after my date of radiation ended. And 2 weeks ago today was my last day of radiation. Yay! So that means I have 4 to 6 weeks left before I can't have surgery anymore. And the reason that window is there is because after that 8th week after you're done with radiation, adhesions, scarring starts to pull that tumor down, and everything that you have accomplished in radiation is undone, and it makes the surgical procedure much more difficult. Now, after speaking with Dr. Logie's PA today, I really wish that I would have known them and spoken to them, found them prior to my radiation, because he wasn't really happy about the radiation. When you look at standards of care for rare cancers, it's very difficult to find them. So the standard of care, so to speak, what people would typically do or how doctors would typically treat or prescribe in my situation, is not necessarily written in stone. So what I learned this morning was that, I'll try to keep the sun behind my head here, radiation cuts the blood supply off to the tumor. Now that's great if you're going to kill a tumor and surgically remove it. But if you're looking at other options, or if there are other options, you don't necessarily want to cut the blood supply off. Now, Dr. Logie is a surgical oncologist, and the question this morning that I asked them was, or a statement, was that I said I don't understand why I had not been referred to a surgical oncologist at the beginning of all of this. It's a GI thing. Obviously, there's going to be one surgery, if not more than one. And it makes sense to me to have a surgeon who is very aware of oncology open me up, fix me, and put me back together. But for some reason, that did not happen. Now, as you can see, I'm probably a little frustrated by that. Yes, I am. And here's how it was explained to me, very affectionately, very nice. And the PA was not swayed one way or the other. I mean, she's non-emotional in this. So she was just, bringing up options and trying to give me an answer. And one of her, let's go this way so that the sun's not in your face. One of her suggestions was, well, Cindy, she explained, your treatment has been palliative treatment. It hasn't been aggressive life-saving treatment. Which all that means, palliative treatment means that whatever you do, whether it was my surgeries or whether it was my chemotherapy, all of the treatments that I have had have not necessarily been to save my life. What they have been is to take care of the symptoms that make my life holy hell. So if a tumor is causing me pain, they try to shrink the tumor, take the tumor out, so that I don't have that much more pain, so that my quality of life increases. That's great. But I should have been more aggressive. I should have asked those questions in the beginning. I didn't know to ask those questions in the beginning. How I never thought about having cancer. None of it. But I didn't. And had I asked those questions in the beginning, more than likely, oh, here comes somebody on a 4x4. You may get to see me say hi. But had I asked those questions, more than likely, my course of treatment would have been a little bit different. Hey, Jody, that's Jody. That's my sister-in-law. For example, had I asked about an oncology surgeon in the beginning, they would have understood that palliative care was not what I was looking for. I was looking for aggressive life-saving care. Now, they would have explained to me that stage 4 cancer that I have, they're never going to get rid of it. One thing I have gotten through my head and accepted is that I will never be in remission. I will never be in remission. Just because I don't have a visible tumor does not mean that I'm in remission. I will never be cancer-free. Just because you can't see the cancer does not mean it's not in my body. The whole goal after taking this tumor out that I have right now is to prevent the hundreds of cancer cells that are currently in my abdomen from becoming tumors. Quiet them down a little bit. See how long I can live, and during that time, make the quality of life that I have actual quality. I'm all for that. But the assumption that my physicians made, And I call it an assumption, but it was really their plan of care, their choice of treatment based on their experience, 30 years of experience. I mean, I respect that. I didn't ask the question about a surgical oncologist. They didn't bring up a surgical oncologist. And the underlying theme there was that it was assumed that a surgical oncologist could not help me. Come to find out, that's not necessarily true. The question now is whether or not a surgical oncologist can help me now, given the treatment that I've had, the palliative treatment that I've had in the past. Has it screwed things up? We don't know. We will know. Unfortunately, the surgical oncologist that can fix all of these things maybe is very interested, well, fortunately he's very interested in my case because my cancer is so rare, both of them. Unfortunately, he's out of the country for about 3 weeks. And I only have a certain window of time before I'm not able to surgically remove this tumor. And now that I've had radiation, that kind of has to be done because there's no blood flow to the tumor. So having the radiation sealed the fate of the types of treatment that I can now have. And if you get nothing else from this video, nothing, get this. When you are diagnosed with cancer, I don't care if it's stage 1, I don't care if it's stage 4 and terminal. When you get that diagnosis, I totally understand that once you hear the word cancer, everything else goes out the window. Everything. It's like you don't hear anything else. But if you get nothing out of this, please do this for me. Take a deep breath. Go home. Think. Do your own little research on, or find somebody to do it for you. Hell, if I'm still alive, call me. Because what may be being presented to you by your physicians, although may be expert quality medical opinions, may or may not be the most appropriate care for you. And that's dependent on a lot of things about you, not necessarily a lot of things about medicine. Had I been given those choices or known that those options existed at the beginning of my treatment, things probably would have been a little bit different. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have gone through what I've gone through. I'm not saying that the outcome would have been different. What I'm saying is that I would have felt more in control of my cancer. I would have searched for a lot more understanding. Okay, so I gotta get going because I do have a doctor's appointment. I will record more later, but and it'll be an appendum or an addendum to this particular video. So this is like part 1, because I really think that it is extremely important to drive these points home. I'm not doing any good here whatsoever unless I can show people the things that are needed when they're diagnosed, or if they're in the middle of treatment, or if they're at a crossroads in their treatment. My job here, self-appointed, but my job, the whole reason that this channel exists is to help me, but it is also to help other people. And I can't do that unless I can give them all of the information that I can find. And I realized this morning, having that conversation, that I need to do more of this searching. All right, guys, so here is the pictures. Here are the 2 pictures of my tumor. Now they're on a CAT scan, but what you'll see, you may even have to enlarge them a little bit, but what you'll see is you'll see a yellow sign or a yellow line, and you'll see a number by it. It's in millimeters. So basically, my tumor before I started, the millimeters were 40 millimeters by 43 millimeters by 31 millimeters. Now understand it's a spherical object and you're looking at it 2D, but that was in October 4th. That was what my CAT scan said. Post radiation, these are the measurements: 40 millimeters by 33 millimeters by 27 millimeters. So it's not that much smaller. But anyway, here's the pictures, and I will continue this particular video and the things that I wanted to talk about on this video a little bit later today. Okay, bye.